Still Poddable, Still Poddable. The Boston Celtics, Still Poddable, Still Poddable. Oh yeah! Still Poddable, Still Poddable. The Boston Celtics, Still Poddable, Still Poddable. Banana 19.
Beat Rob, Jim, Pekka, J. King.
Still Poddable, Still Poddable.
The Caesar on the court to get another ring.
Still Poddable, Still Poddable.
Everybody in the chat now sing.
Still Poddable, Still Poddable. Still Poddable, Still Poddable. The Boston Celtics, Still Poddable, Still Poddable. Oh yeah! Shut your ass up, man.
My daddy's always asked what an air is.
Welcome back to Still Poddable, and welcome back to Boston Celtics basketball. It feels like a short off season, but they're actually playing games. Not that they matter, but they matter a little bit. It's much better than summer league. Celtics play their first preseason game in a ghost town of a Memphis Grizzlies stadium with about approximately 4,000 people in attendance. I am Sam Jam Packer, joined by the great Brian B. Rob of MassLife.com. We are Still Poddable, welcoming you back to the 2025-2026 campaign. And if there's one thing about the Celtics is they got a bunch of dudes and they're all doing different things, and it's going to be fun.
Could Joe Mazzulla have drawn up a better start to whatever this era is going to be, Packard? Like, legitimately, after that first half.
I mean, I think drawing up playing this Memphis Grizzlies team was definitely
that was
definitely a good part.
You get them for 82 with their D squad. That would be a good thing for this team. But forget about that, Packard. It's a preseason basketball, and there is so much good stuff tonight. I don't even know where to start.
Pick it. Impulse. What's your biggest takeaway?
We got to start with the rookie.
Ugo.
Got to go after Ugo because those he had the plays of the night here, like Jaylen Brown, very good. Derek White,
also very
all-star
good.
campaign begins, but Ugo coming right out of the gate with 2 blocks in his first stint, and then the second half you don't even just get the chase down block, Packard, but you get the fast break dunk. And I don't know whose grill that was, but that, the defense has always been the buzz of him. That was there in summer league, but to see that translate like this right away, I know it's the Grizzlies, I know it's their D squad, but stuff like that makes me think, all right, this might be a guy we're seeing more in Boston or a lot more in Boston than Maine this year.
Yeah, it's taking the next step from summer league, and the physicality that was there, the hustle was there, and the ability to make some sort of defensive impact was there. We also saw him knock down a 3, which any made shot by Ugo at this point is just absolutely gravy. But yeah, just coming in and changing kind of the energy of the game. I think he had a steal. I don't know if it was clocked as a steal or a block, but just wrapped a guy up in kind of go for the layup in traffic. He just felt like his presence was there on the court, and it's just exciting. I have no idea what he's going to become, but these are all positive signs in terms of, maybe they just need the super athletic 19-year-old on the wing. He still drives into the middle of nowhere and doesn't know what he's doing, and is decides to drive the ball when he's not past a defender, but you live with those things to see if he's going to give you 3 blocks a night.
It's just a wing defense it's just a hard thing to come by in the NBA, especially in, with young guys. So yeah, is he ready to play point guard in the NBA? No. Is he a guy you want to drive? This is all stuff we knew in summer league, but to see the flashes of this defensively
against other NBA players,
against,
not
right,
summer league guys,
right?
Although not the most bona fide NBA players with the most.
But he was but it was there is Jalen Wells playing this game. Cedric Coward was the 11th pick in the draft.
Santi Aldama.
Yeah, this is you had 5, 6 or 7 legitimate NBA players in this game for the Grizzlies. They're not good. They weren't all good ones. They had some legitimate guys, better guys on the bench, but yeah, he looked like he belonged, and it just the buy-in, the motor defensively, and then like I said, if you can if he can just be the complimentary guy in offense, and he looked competent again. Like, I know they threw him in the second half there to handling the point, giving him some reps there. Like, that's great, but this team's not going to ask him to do that in real games this year. If he can just hit a corner three, a transition three here or there, and then, push it on the break, stuff like that. That's all you need to do if he's bringing the defense. So that the fact that is, we saw so many glimpses of that in whatever it was, 20 minutes from him tonight. That was a very promising sign.
Definitely. My biggest takeaway from this game.
Let's do a draft. Let's just do a spontaneous
draft
six-pack
it
of
up.
exciting parts of that game.
Well, I was going to take all of the big men, but I'll split it up into pick one. I'm a Minot man. Josh Minot.
Yeah.
I don't think he can make a shot. Like his shot did not look good.
0-5 from 3.
Everything else he did immediately opens up the game with just like some energy, offensive rebound, putback. I thought he had another nice like lefty finish, kind of sweeping through the lane. He had a nice lefty alley-oop, or I think just a kick-ahead pass for a layup. He had the alley-oop to Xavier Tillman. He just seems like long and plays with a bunch of energy. He's definitely not a center. I don't know what his shooting's going to be, but the Minot man, I think I'm just a fan of his game, and this is a lot coming from the Grandy pod of just like he was all in on Minot as like the most exciting young guy. I didn't realize the Minot hype was there. But I'm ready to get aboard the train. He just seems like an athletic player who can kind of do a little bit of everything. And I didn't realize how much skill he had with the ball. And it was basic things. It was just like kick ahead passes, but he like did it with his left hand, and maybe he's a lefty and I'm just being like, and that's just his dominant hand at this point. But I was just impressed by his kind of like bounce, his lengthy energy. And I liked what I saw from him tonight.
He crashed the offensive glass hard. I mean, they had a bunch of guys who did that in this game, but like the length, the difference in athleticism from what this team had, like that kind of sticks out. And that, I mean, that translates now into how they want to play of, the up tempo mentality. But yeah, like he crashes hard, he plays hard, he's long as hell. And yeah, the jump shot is yikes. I don't know what he made in his career. I think it's like in the low 30s, something like that. It seems high to me after watching his 5 attempts tonight. But if he can, again, like Gonzalez, like if he just kind of stays in his lane and does the stuff he does well, there might be enough shooting on the floor around him where like that doesn't matter. Where like that's still a net positive because
if this team's going to play so fast, maybe they just put a more of an emphasis on like, you got to be able to play like high flying, super athletic defense. And we're just trying to run as much as possible. And so maybe there's just more value and you get more playing time on this team if you can be an Ugo, a Minot, playing multiple positions and just like going super hard at all times. But they're playing some crazy lineups, like and really rotating the bigs in. And I feel like Minot and Boucher played a lot together, which is just like they're both kind of power forwards. Neither of them are centers, but they're both like pretty athletic and aggressive. Yeah,
it was fascinating to see how they work those in. And I mean, like, yeah, like we've had Kata, Pritchard, and Simons all had the night off here. So you pretty much saw everyone on the real roster get real minutes. And everything kind of, I mean, again, it all seemed to work. Like whatever they try to do, like the double big guys had their moments. The single big lineup had their moments. Like they went on that big 8-0 run at the beginning of the second quarter when they were, I feel like, pretty small there. But they just, it was like Ugo and Minot and like athleticism all over the place defensively. So it'll be fascinating to see. That subplot is not going to go away anytime soon of like how they should play games, one big versus two bigs. But it is, you saw bright spots out of both of those tonight.
Is it my pick again?
You got another pick, yeah.
Sometimes when we're doing a 2-man 6-pack, maybe I don't know how.
Switch it up? Yeah, we'll just do it. It's not a big advantage. I can go. Xavier Tillman, not back from the dead, but the knee appears to be back.
He jumped. He dunked. I haven't seen Xavier Tillman dunk in a long time.
Was Xavier Tillman even capable of a alley-oop last year? or even a dunk. Period. Yeah, that's a guy we kind of I feel like was in the back of our heads Packard all obviously like, all right, he was something a few years ago. Like he is the most accomplished big man on this roster, but does that guy exist anymore or not? And tonight, 23 minutes, 7 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, a block, and just more important, like he could move. Like he wasn't like blowing you away with his left, but he just like he looked like he wasn't laboring out there. And we haven't seen, I don't know if you've seen that a guy in Boston, period. Even at the end of the finals year, he wasn't moving great for most of that year. He was dealing with knee issues then too. So, yeah, he's going to probably certainly be a factor in the center rotation. And so that having that in play here is a good sign.
Surprise Jay King appearance. Whoa, buddy.
Oh,
We're doing a 6-pack, Jay. We're doing picks. So what exciting?
We've already picked Ugo, Minot, and Xavier Tillman. So what's your pick?
So you're up.
I mean, can I group all the wings together?
Yeah, there's no.
I'm gonna group the depth together. Let's group the depth together because I think everybody looked at this Celtics roster and thought they lost a lot. They are not going to be a deep team. They're going to be a thin team. After tonight, I'm open to the idea that they could be deeper than expected. Josh Minot was out there causing havoc. He was making plays in transition. Ugo Gonzalez, 3 blocks, making plays all night. He got to stop Euro stepping with the ball directly in front of other people. But
best believe we covered that.
But other than that, he just did a lot of really solid things. Xavier Tillman caught an alley-oop dunk, which was totally unexpected and a sign that he's healthy again. If he's healthy and Garza can play a little bit and Boucher is energetic as he was, then I think there's a world where this Celtics team is maybe even a lot deeper than people anticipate. I'm not totally sold on the young wings yet. I'm not totally sold on the front court at all. But tonight was stock way up for Celtics depth.
So that's like a front office pick there.
Yeah, we'll give it to Brad Stevens.
Brad Stevens. No.
Are you a Boucher boy, a Garza guy, or
you could give it to Joe Mazzulla too, because
that's true.
The way that they played, the pace that they played, the tempo that they played allowed a whole lot of guys to contribute and feel empowered, and they all did a lot of stuff.
And is the Jordan Walsh like 5 on 5 off? I know that like they're not actually doing full hockey subs, but there is like a kernel of truth to that where it's like we can just bring in a bunch of guys and have them play their asses off on defense. And like if you have this level of depth, obviously the high end talent's not there, but like the ceiling or the floor seems to be there just in terms of like we can play 12 guys who we reasonably think are NBA players and just play at this high flying defense. The one thing that did stick out to me, and I guess this will be my next pick, they just have no rim protection without Nimi. Like Luke Garza is a big dude, but they're small. And Nimi's
Gonzalez. Come on.
Ugo with 3 blocks, and you're going to say they have no rim protection?
He chased down blocks. There is a lot of – this was a bad Grizzlies team, but there was a lot of times where they just kind of got into the paint with very little resistance. I think it was part of like the scheme they're playing. It felt like the bigs were up a bunch, and they kind of like let guys get into the paint, but they're just – and they're going to get killed on the glass this year. They're absolutely going to get destroyed on the defensive glass.
Yeah. Defensive glass could be rough, especially when Pritchard and Simons are playing, and you're playing probably a lot smaller than you did tonight against Memphis. Like the starting lineup they used tonight with Tillman and Boucher, with Jaylen at shooting guard next to Hauser and White, that might be their best defensive lineup. And I don't think we'll see it a lot during the regular season. Like that doesn't strike me as a unit that they will play huge minutes. So they're going to have more holes to fill, more holes to patch over, and defense could get ugly at times. But they were promising too. Like that stretch in the second quarter when Derek White played with it was Ugo, Josh Minot, Shireman, and Boucher. they were picking guys up. They were stripping people. They were getting out in transition, dunking it. It was just like they just out energied the Grizzlies and just kind of hit them with a wave. I didn't expect that. And I thought that the brand they played that was kind of what they promised, that they were going to be getting up and down and being feisty. Had a shoving match a little bit with Jaylen Brown. It was a feisty game for a preseason opener. Like Celtics looked ready for this one.
Yeah, we haven't talked about Jaylen at all. But coming off that knee surgery,
looks sharp.
Looked damn sharp. Whether it was ready for the isolation that was coming for way. He is, he got up 13 shots in 20 minutes, but got to the line 8 times too. And that's going to be a huge thing this year. And yeah, there was like a bad heat check or two in there, but most of those were just like he got good separation. He got to his spots. Again, did not have world beaters guarding him on the Grizzlies D team here. But for a guy who knew probably going in, he was just playing a half. Like that was as close to, mid-season form you're going to see in like a preseason opener, I feel like. And so that in itself was a very promising sign out of tonight.
Derek White,
he wanted to set a tone. Like the other day at practice, he said, I know it's preseason, but I want it to be intense. I don't want us to come out and have a relaxed effort. And then
so you're saying the shove was staged? You saying he was just playing it up for the young guys?
I'm saying he followed it up with 21 points and was sharp from the beginning and was into it and playing defense and yes, feisty enough to shove Vince Williams Jr. after a reasonably hard
marginal
foul.
contact.
Yeah.
I thought Chris Boucher was also playing a little bit of enforcer in there. Baptized Boucher.
People are gonna love Boucher in Boston, I feel like, because he's just kind of an irritant.
He's the type of guy who would like tap Joe Mazzulla on his way back to the sideline, and I feel like the Mazzulla talked about that, earned his respect there.
Yeah, and he's gonna start some beef, which Celtics haven't really had a guy to start beef in a while. Jaylen became that guy a little bit, but that wasn't always his.
Now
nature.
Jaylen's the leader. You need a secondary instigator, enforcer type. And now if you're playing we're going to play super physical defense, there are going to be some scraps. There are going to be people who are frustrated by that. And you need a guy in there willing to just shove and piss some teams off. They have to be an annoying team. If they're not going to be a big team, if they're not going to be a rim protecting team, if they're not going to be a defensive rebounding team, they at least need to be physical and annoying. And I like what I'm seeing from Boucher, at least in that regard.
It's fitting he's wearing 99, just taking the.
I didn't like it at first. But it's growing on me. He did look like Boss Man 99 out there.
What? And you just didn't like it because it was Jay Crowder's number?
Yes.
All right.
I mean, my takes don't have to be irrational. They never have been. I'm not going to start this season. Yeah.
Derek White pretty good too.
How many assists did he end up with?
9 assists in the first half. I don't know. Not that another guy who I think will fully embrace the up-tempo mentality that they are preaching to this group and kind of thrive. I mean, he gets shots up quick, and he loves to push the ball just like Jaylen. So I mean, that's something he was always in this game, but to kind of see him going at that pace, like I feel like it was a sneaky 9 assists in the first half. You kind of looked at the box, were like, oh wow, but he got his shots and was easily setting up other people too. So
he's going to shoot so many threes this year. I feel like just like anytime Derek White is open remotely, he's going to pull up from 3.
And like, do you remember when Kristaps came back and it kind of threw the Celtics out of whack a little bit, and Derek White just had like a month and a half, whatever it was, where he was just not aggressive and inefficient? That's not going to happen anymore because he is going to have the ultimate green light from day one. And he's a person that when he has the green light, when he feels that empowerment, like he typically plays super confident and doesn't have lulls. And I just feel like the more aggressive Derek White can be, the better off the Celtics will be. And the fact that he took 8 threes in the first half while missing almost all of them was was promising, and I think that's going to be what it's going to be for him. Like they're going to need their guards to do a lot, at least on nights when the wings aren't stealing everything and offensive rebounding everything and dunking shit in transition left and right. I don't think that will happen every night, but they will need Derek White to just be hunting his shots more than he used to.
Yeah, it's like he just looks up to the task on that. To your point, Joe. Like that's with Jaylen or Derek. Like when these guys have been given more opportunities throughout their careers, they usually run with it. And now, like I said, you're not looking behind you anymore. You need they need this, and whether it's those two, I mean, even Hauser too. Like just the guys you expected to be reliable in this lineup, and we're there, and we're pretty much there from the jump, where there was no drop off in the chemistry or just like how in sync they were in terms of getting to their spots offensively. So you're not gonna how that looks against real NBA teams, where we'll find out, I guess, in the next week. I mean, Toronto will I think play most of their guys on Friday, and then you have some better teams next week. But that's certainly a promising. Like the optimism that this could still be a top 10 offense this year is very much there after just looking at what this looks like after one night.
Because they're just going to get up shots and they're going to play fast, and so you can imagine them winning some margins that way. All right, we've been doing way too positive for a post-game podcast. Let's highlight the most negative aspect of this game. Is it Jordan Walsh? What's Jordan Walsh doing out there? Nothing.
He left the game with an injury.
That is a good point that I acknowledge.
I thought he played fine when he was out there too.
I forgot about the injury portion. I was checking through the box scores, like, why did he only play 7 minutes? I now remember getting that notification about the left adductor strain. Do I retract my statement? No. Well, I dare you guys to choose a more negative component of this game. Who had a worse game than Jordan Walsh?
I mean, Baylor was 3 of 13 and 4 turnovers. That was probably the only
guy. Some of those polls
rotation.
were just ambitious.
Yeah.
The man has like shot selection that I can really admire. Like he just launching it from 30 feet in transition without a care in the world. I thought he was good though. I thought defensively, he at media day, he said that his defensive playmaking is going to surprise people, and he made a ton of plays. Like he and Minot were just everywhere. They were forcing a bunch of turnovers. They were crashing the offensive glass. They were doing all the dirty work, and that goes a long way. The 3 for 13, not great, but a lot of that was just like open threes that he missed. And as long as he can make things happen defensively and continue to get extra possessions on the offensive glass, like he's playable. And he and Minot and even Ugo, they all looked playable tonight, which I think is a big positive for the Celtics. If all those guys are like worthy of minutes or capable of minutes, then that would go a long way this season.
The all energy lineup that Joe Mazzulla can throw out, what is it? So it's like Boucher, Minot, Ugo, Shireman.
And they had White at point guard with that.
White at point guard, yeah. The White or Jaylen, I guess.
They looked good with that lineup.
Yeah.
And it's not always going to look that way because you're not always going to be playing third stringers.
They're like the NBA.com like lineups sorting for 5-man lineups is just going to be ridiculous this season because there's going to be in order to qualify, there's going to be so many different combinations. When you have 12 guys you can legitimately play, and you're just going to. I feel like for the big man rotation, it's going to be entirely matchup dependent or vibes dependent in the game, where it's just like fuck it, like we're trying Garza now. They were going off about how great Garza was at setting screens, which he did seem to do a solid job in freeing up Derek White to knock down some mid-range shots, especially there in that second quarter. But I think they're like, it's not. I'd be shocked in like the first 20 games if we get like a consistent rotation. I'm just imagining it's just going to let's try see what works depending on what team we're playing.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like there's a lot of separation at all. Whether it's bigs, wings, the only place there is separation is the backcourt, and that's like clear hierarchy with White, Simons, and Pritchard way above everybody else. And the lack of playmaking with Pritchard and Simons both out was like pretty clear. Like after Derek White was out, it was like, what are they going to do to run their offense? And Jaylen obviously only played the first half too. If he had played, it would have been a little different. But the you can see that was where, like, I know I said the depth was a way up on the stock report, but you could see how like a couple of the wrong injuries could really impact this team and leave them pretty thin at certain spots.
The fact that we're talking about depth in a good way tonight is pretty damn encouraging.
Yeah.
Like you're like, oh, this is
yeah.
like, I thought we'd be talking about the other way. Like, man, these are gonna be tough choices because
like
who's gonna be who's actually
rough.
worthy of minutes. But now it's like, oh yeah, like this might be a tough, like Gonzalez or like Minot or Baylor Shireman on any given night. Like when everyone's healthy, like all three of those guys probably aren't gonna play when you have your full goal.
If you remember last year, it's like the first preseason game, I think it was Jaden Springer and Jordan Walsh as the first two guys who got a crack at like the extra minutes. And it's for most of the season, like nobody claimed those minutes. Nobody really took advantage of those opportunities. It really lasted until like March, which was when Shireman finally strung a few games together and like separated himself a little bit. But until then, like nobody wanted those minutes. And so tonight, with everybody contributing and everybody making plays on both ends, it was just kind of refreshing to see, because that's not at all what the competition for those minutes was like last year. And this year, the Celtics need it more because they lost a lot. So promising start from the Wings. I was very impressed by the Wings.
This season's going to be fun because it's going to be so
You're
much
so
eye
excited
test
for this season,
because it's like all this. It's dumb basketball fans like me just weighing in, being like, no, Minot's like, if I'm power ranking the guys right now, it's Minot all the way. Like he's my favorite guy. I want to see him get more minutes, and it's just going to be dumb arguments about which guy deserves these minutes based on pure vibes alone. And then you nerds will come in with the numbers. And if the numbers suit my argument, I'll use them. And if they don't, I'll go back to eye test. But I feel like it's going to be an exciting, just like we're all evaluating these guys in real time. Before it was just like the past two Celtics seasons, like we need to demand perfection and they need to win in pretty much every game. This year, it's like we're figuring it out who's on this team as the team's figuring out. So I think it's going to be exciting to like have all these arguments. I've already separated the camps, the Boucher boys, the Garza guys, the Minot men, anyone to not be on Team Nemi. I'm already out. I'm already off on Team Nemi after seeing other guys play center on this team. But who knows? Maybe I'll come back when I realize that they need someone to be over 7 feet. This is what the season's going to be.
I really enjoyed Scal repeatedly talking about Luka Garza's decel, when really it was just like Luka Garza moving slowly. That was awesome. He's like, I thought Luka was going to slam that one home, and then he went with the decel instead. I was like, that's just how he moves, man.
Well, 10 points. I don't know, like with Garza, 9 free throw attempts in 16 minutes. That is a pure numbers dream for
the man. Has always been productive,
right? So that is making the per 36 numbers after night for Luka Garza. We're pretty phenomenal. But it is like you do watch Garza and Minot in this game, and look at Minnesota just letting these guys walk. And I imagine they just asked out essentially, but
yeah, I believe that's kind of
like I think that's how it went. But it's still for Minnesota to be like, yeah, okay, like we're gonna do you guys a solid here. Like if these guys actually hit, then and the Celtics got both of them based on a team doing these guys here. That's freaking huge. If like even one of these guys, I think Minot's probably the leader in the clubhouse for someone who's gonna be able to make an impact. I think in a year or two on this team. But if the pretty promising returns from then the bargain basement bin, if you will.
Yeah, they need those guys to contribute. And I like Minnesota, they were never going to play though. Like they
Yeah,
just have
I mean,
such a
that's
deep team. They have a ton of talent, and there was never going to be an opening, and that's why those guys wanted new opportunities. That's why they ended up on the free agent market, and Celtics were the team to combine opportunity with a team that could win. It hasn't been like that a lot lately. Like
No.
they've typically been the team that free agents look at and are like, hell no, I would never play there. Why would I go there? Instead, this time Luka Garza was like, they got who starting at center? Like I got a shot to play.
Me. They have me starting the center.
So but yeah, they were legit. Minot was everywhere. And I was really impressed by the way that he didn't just make defensive plays, he converted them into offense.
The left-handed passing.
He found Gonzalez twice for fast break buckets. He threw the lob to Tillman. It was like every time he got a steal or a rebound, he turned it into something good. And that's a skill that you can really use, is somebody who doesn't just get a ton of steals, but then knows what to do with it once he gets the ball. More of that, Josh.
I think this team is going to be like, they're going to have their chaos team where it's like they need to generate turnovers, because if you have Minot out there in the half court offense, definitely not as useful because his shot kind of looks broken. And so there's going to be this dynamic where like they're going to have these chaos teams where they just need to play fast. And then if other teams are going to try and slow them down and get them in the half court because they have these non-shooters who are just kind of like chaos agents. And so that's going to be a big dynamic of like these bench units is like, can they avoid the half court offense? Can they score just by playing fast break and like turning the other team over?
And Minot missed all his 3-point attempts, and some of them were not even close.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Not even close.
And it didn't matter. He was still a big plus when he was on the court. But eventually that stuff matters.
I'm curious to see what Simons is going to look like in this chaos. Like, if he's going to.
Well, Simon's going to be the guy that like bails them out in half court offense.
Probably. Yeah.
Units where it's like, we need a bucket now. Good. We've like.
I could see him playing really well off of Pritchard and Derek White as well. Like, just because he's such a good shooter, and he's a good shooter off ball. He's a good shooter off movement, and he hasn't had those types of guards since really, becoming a key guy. He hasn't had those type of guards to set him up and make the game easier for him. I just think when they have those guys on the court, they're going to have so much shooting. It was hilarious. They shot 28 3-pointers in the first half with no Pritchard and no Simons. I was cackling. Like, you think Tatum's out, Horford and Porzingis aren't there. They don't have stretch bigs. Simons and Pritchard are sitting out, and they launched 28 threes in the first half anyway. God bless them.
That pace is real. Anything else?
Any other junk from this game? Any other nonsense observations?
Memphis just bothered by a team playing this hard in the preseason.
I think the whole city was bothered by the fact that they had to host a basketball game. There's 30 people there.
Yeah, that was friends and family.
Friends and family only. Hearing no junk, I'm going to declare there are no junk. We're still in preseason form. But we'll be back with more analysis of the Celtics preseason. I'm actually taking a little vacation, going to London, Amsterdam, Brighton. I'll make sure to film some Patreon videos.
You get those recommendations from the chat?
The chat gave me all sorts of recommendations for places to go. So I'll make sure to check in while I'm in Europe.
Got people to see. The penitentiary ain't no place for me.
Yes. I don't know the reference, but I'm sure it's a reference to something.
Damn, you gotta learn your old hip hop.
What can you name the song, the artist for us? Enlighten us.
I'm not gonna tell you what you don't know.
You don't know the name yourself.
I sure do.
Oh, this is stupid. All right. I appreciate everyone tuning in. We'll be back with more Still Poddable. Get excited. Celtics 2025-2026 season is started, underway. Real basketball. We're excited to talk about it. We'll be here for you guys the entire rest of the way. Appreciate you guys tuning in to Still Poddable.
Still Poddable, Still Poddable. The Boston Celtics Still Poddable, Still Poddable. Oh, yeah.
Slow down from eating and drinking and all that wild stuff.